am back. I've got quite a lot to say. I don't know how I'm gonna say it all, but I definitely feel the need that I want to speak to a lot of people, a lot of you guys, and just really say thank you to everybody. Really, to everybody. I've been away for 3 days, but obviously I've not done videos for longer than that anyway. I was up north, went up to Yorkshire, went up to Preston. I've been all over the shop really, and when I say I'm gonna have some time off, I do. I completely de-West Hammed to the point whereas West Ham had assigned somebody, I probably wouldn't have known, but I needn't have worried because West Ham haven't signed anybody. I honestly, when I got back late yesterday, I switched. Funny enough, I watched Gio's 60-second roundups on this channel, and to get a little grasp of what was going on, and then had a little cursory sort of browse through all the West Ham stuff, and just to see what was going on. So I've seen the Fulkrug stuff, I've seen the Agurd stuff, and just tried to play catch up as much as I could. I'm not really gonna talk about West Ham much on this video, but I also don't want to go into huge detail about everything, because I think there's a different time and there's another time and a place. Probably not the time and the place. Now I do sort of want to look forward and get back into the West Ham way of doing things, and get back into the West Ham news. And I know it's probably not a lot happening. It's still quite a miserable place to be, being a West Ham fan, because there's not a lot going on. But I just want to make the move to that. But I don't want to ignore everything that happened last week. So, first of all, thank you to Gio for covering on here for the last few days, and to Mike and Michael, who both sent in videos. But I want to go a little bit further back than that, because I owe so many people so many thank yous, because when everything sort of happened last week, I wasn't in a particularly good place anyway. I struggle with my mental health. I was going to say at the best of times. That's not true. At the best of times, I don't struggle with mental health at all. I struggle with my mental health at the worst of times. I think that's probably a better way of saying it. And then that becomes anxiety. And that's, if anybody knows what it's like, that paralysing feeling that you get when you wake up, if you've had any sleep, when you wake up in the morning and you realise you've got to face the day, it can be debilitating. And I remember the first time I ever had any counselling was the first thing that the counsellor said to me. She said, right, first of all, I always ask my clients, whatever, are you on social media? Because the first thing she advises is come off social media. The premise being that it's so bad for your mental health. And I just sort of laughed. I said, yeah, that's not really an option. That's not really an option for me. So I think things had just got really bad anyway. And I think at the point I did my video, I just had enough. So, and because I'd obviously had quite a lot of spite online, I'd said, right, I'm not even going to read any comments. I'm going to switch off. But there have been so many wonderful, lovely comments. It was amazing. And what was happening was people that I was in contact with were screenshotting the comments and sort of sending them back to me. And my girlfriend had gone on there and said, oh, yeah, I'm Gonzo's girlfriend. And she was feeding stuff back to me. And somebody replied to her comment and said, you're not Gonzo's girlfriend. I am, which I thought was really funny. So that was nice, because there was, there's people were just being nice. And this is what I want to say about that stuff. A lot of people were very open, sharing their own experiences with mental health, which I was really touched that people share their feelings and the way they're feeling, because it's not easy. It's not easy at all, and I think modern life is tough. It's tough. I don't think we're built for all this stuff. I think that's one of the reasons the counsellor says don't go on social media. I don't think we're designed for it. I just don't think we're designed for the fast paced, for everything, in the information overload that we get, which I know is ironic, bearing in mind the space that I work in. and then it can, I believe, it can be a really cruel place, which is, online, the internet can be a really cruel place, which is why I got to where I got to the other day. So it's not easy to share your stuff on there, and I think it's easy if you spend too much time on the internet to think that everyone's cruel and everyone's mean, but they're not. And so I think I've even looked at, for the last 2 days, I haven't looked at what that video did. That video, last time I looked, had done 25,000 views. We don't do 25,000 views on videos on this channel. So, and I had so many messages. I had messages from people all the time, and I think there were even just posts that people left on the video. Was like 1,500 messages, and yeah, I just wanted to say thank you for that, for doing that, for sharing your stuff. I will talk about it more in depth another time, but I think the other thing I want to say is I'm no expert on this stuff. I'm no expert on mental health. I don't know this stuff. I only know, I've said it before, I think if you go back 10 years, I didn't even necessarily believe in it, if you know what I mean. I just thought sometimes you had good days, sometimes you had bad days. But I do think life has become harder. I do think it's become worse. I do think things got worse over COVID. I was watching something on Freddie Flintoff. You know Freddie Flintoff? He was the cricketer, a really, really good cricketer. He had a crash. He had a car crash, and he was on when he was doing Top Gear. And he was talking about his anxiety, and because he said he didn't go out for about a year. He just sort of stayed in his house. So that first time he went out, the anxiety, he kept on trying to go out the front door, couldn't go out the front door. And when he was saying it, I thought, but that's what so many people had over COVID as well. So I just think life is tough, right, for everyone and everything. So I'm a little bit reluctant. I think it's nice that people share their stuff, but I never want to give anyone any advice and give the wrong advice. I'm not, there's experts in this stuff. I'm still, I don't know what my own head's doing half the time. But I am so, I think it's just nice that people feel that they can share, and for people to open up. And the other thing that was a little bit, I've always found this quite difficult, because I never even intended on doing this as a job. It's really important to remember that. I'd never intended on doing this as a job. I certainly never thought when I started doing football YouTube, or even pinball YouTube, that I'd be, I think, online, opening up my soul to everybody and saying I'm struggling and this is happening. I never thought I'd be doing that. But when the comments come back, a lot of people said that during COVID, that they were, it's even hard for me to say it, to be honest with you, that they came to rely on the daily videos. It's because it sounds pretentious to even say it. And what happened in COVID on Hammer's Chat was really important for them. And yeah, it's hard to hear that. It is hard to hear that. It has to be said, because actually I thought the reverse was true. It was, I needed to do it during COVID. I needed to speak to people. So it was very, very much a two-way street. So I just wanted people to know that I am very, very aware of it. I've got a lot of stuff going on with regard to mental health stuff, and I don't want to really go into that right now. But I also do feel, that people have shared so much. I do think it's something that I would discuss, but I just don't think this is the platform to do it. So maybe at some point in the future, somewhere else we'll go into that. I've got different things going on at the moment. Doctor stuff and stuff like that. So both for mental and physical. I'm all right. I'm hopeful I'll be all right. Hopefully I'll come out the other end, and I think I will. So I just wanted to say, thank you for that, for all of that. It was when I said to Gio, because I took a couple of days off, and I said to Gio at the end of last week, "It's not enough. It's not enough. I need some more. I need more time away from the internet, basically." And I said, "Look, just don't worry about uploading on here and stuff like that." And we were doing a call, and he took his headphones and went, "La la 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 la," not listening. He said, "I'm going to put stuff up." So. And actually, it's quite funny. I was watching his 60 seconds, like, oh, this is good. this is good. This stuff. So yeah, I'm glad that people really like that concept, and I'm not going to do it today because I'm so out of the loop on the West Ham stuff. I'm just dealing with a gird and Fulkrug and all that type of stuff as well. So I'm going to spend the day catching up on stuff and finding out what's not happening, and then we'll get back a little bit more to it. I also wanted to say I had lots and lots of messages as well, lots of really nice messages, but I wanted to take something that really helped, because I did feel, I did feel in a really, really bad place last week. But that night that I uploaded the video, I was a bit overwhelming. So I think I uploaded the video during the day, and that evening, Nick from Claret and Booze uploaded a video. And I got messages, basically saying, Nick's uploaded it. And then Nick sent me a long message. And his video really helped. Really, really helped. Because he's got, it's incredible what he's done. He's built up such a big audience so quickly. And he's so good at what he does. And his community listened to him. So it made a big difference, actually. Because he went on there and he was very sympathetic, and I thought I was really, really pleased for it. So, and obviously I've spoken to Nick directly, and I've said, thank you for doing that. He didn't have to do on that. And just at a point where I felt, and obviously it wasn't everyone, but when you're in the eye of the storm, it feels like everyone, because the story I wrote on Claret and Hugh, it felt like everyone was wading in on me, and yeah, I felt pretty isolated in that sense, and it was amazing for him to come out and do that. He's got such a big voice, and he came out and and gave me support, and I really, really appreciated that. That I felt that it turned the tide for me. It really did. It started, came over the crest of the hill, if you want, and then I think it was the next day. I'm pretty sure it was the next day, and it was Luke, formerly Free Hammers. I think it's now West Ham World fan channel. I think it is. And he did such a lovely video, and he sat there and just again was just so supportive, and he's such a nice guy. He's so genuine. He said I'm not gonna monetize this because I don't feel it's appropriate to. And I did actually say to him, you should have monetized that, mate. It was really nice. It was really, really nice. And then just so many other, sort of messages came through as well. And it was just nice. It was really nice to receive that support. It can be, I even opened up Twitter, and I was almost a bit scared to open it up, or X, sorry, is what we call it now. And I'm just being honest, I didn't click on the notifications because that is what had really sort of triggered me initially. As I say, I was a bit of a low ebb anyway, and that day, whenever it was last week, what I sometimes do is I'll go on X, I'll go on Twitter, and particularly to do the 60-second stuff. So I'll type in West Ham. I'll just type in West Ham in the search bar and then click it, and then you'll get the West Ham stories. And because tweets are short, aren't they? You just get all the bullet points of what might happen at West Ham. And the bullet point on that day, I'd found that what I'd written on Claret and Hugh, that was the story. That was the West Ham news, and board stooge. And I'm not gonna give any more. That's all I'm saying. I'm not going to give any more oxygen to the things that made me feel crap, basically, because I've had so many more. And I explained myself in that other video. If you watch that video and I will tell you something. Actually, I was going to say I won't give any oxygen. I thought all I could do at that video was explain. Well, I'm not the board stooge. I'm not. I've never once been told by the club to say anything. Of course I get some snippets of information about transfers but whatever, loads and loads of different people though, and I think there's this anyway. So all I could say is that I've got nothing to do with it. I've never even met David Sullivan. All I could do was say that and then apologise and say I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry for what I got wrong, and explain myself. I just thought the best thing I could do was apologise and explain myself, in the hope that it would stop. And there was one message that came back, not to me, but again, it was sort of shared in my direction, which was, I see Gonzo and Claret and Hugh are backtracking now. I thought, okay, for that person, I could never do anything, because realistically, what could I do? I could either ignore it, I could either double down on it, or I could try and, rectify what people didn't like and apologise and just explain the story. And I thought that was the right one to do. I thought doubling down on it and going on the attack would have been the wrong. It's not me anyway. I wouldn't have done that. To ignore it would have been wrong. I thought, actually, there has to be some value in life. I think some currency to admitting your mistakes and apologising. But I did that, and he's backtracking. Well, then I actually have nowhere left to go. And I think, but it was so. There's almost none of that, and I thought I can never deal with people that are like that. You'll never be able to communicate with those people, obviously, because even if you obviously, even, you know what I'm saying, don't you? Even if you're sort of admitting, what you did wrong and stuff like that, and if that's never going to be good enough, then you have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go at all. So I'm not so bothered about that, and I have really over the last few days just concentrated on all that really good, just really lovely messages. I'm so sorry that I feel really bad actually about not going through and reading them all, but I was just trying to protect myself at the time, because when I said that, I was expecting a load of hateful stuff to come back, because that had been my reality for the past 2 or 3 days. And it was just a lot of lovely stuff, a lot of love, a lot of wonderful people. And it's just nice to see there's so much kindness, there's so much nice stuff, there's so many good people, and just really want to say thank you. Sorry, 17 minutes, yeah, better than the last one, it was half hour, wasn't it? I am monetising this video, because this is my job. I want to say thank you to sponsors, etc. They've not, they've had no, they've been so good, so supportive. Just a West Ham fan, just so supportive. So just want to say I thank Mark. Mark did his video yesterday. Mark Carlaw, thank you very much. All of these, honestly, so many people, so many West Ham people have been so supportive, and I do appreciate it. I'm all right. I'll be all right. But I'm getting, just trying to sort through. I just have these periods. I do have these periods with my mental health, and then I can go 3-4 months and I'll be absolutely fine. But look, people know what it's like, and then you get it bad, don't you? And I think it's just, if I had a normal job, I think maybe you can dust yourself off, or you can go into the office, or and I think about it. There were times when I used to be a plumber, I'd have anxiety, and I definitely. But it's not public, and I think sometimes when you're feeling really low, it can be quite difficult to switch on the camera and put your face out there, and I do those when I've done. That's not my first rodeo in terms of having a bit of a public meltdown. I always regret doing them afterwards, but I'll probably still do now a bit, but not loads. I think it's important because I basically speak to you guys on a daily basis, and and you deserve to know what's going on. I guess I didn't need to go in as much detail as I did, and I do, but yeah, I couldn't. I just didn't feel like coming in and switching on the camera and being being public, or whatever. You know what I'm saying. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, that's that. So thank you to everybody. Absolutely amazing, and I am feeling significantly better about things now. And Yeah, certainly from the West Ham point of view, I feel so much better. There's other stuff I've got to get sorted out anyway. And I just think, you know what it's like when everything, gets on top of you. It's quite hard, isn't it? But life's hard. Life's hard, and life is hard, and life is expensive, and everybody has their pressures. Everybody has their stuff going on. Work can be hard, can't it? Wherever you're working and stuff like that. So I always feel a little bit. I always regret it after. So I think, well, hold on a second. Loads of people are having troubles and all the rest of it. So yeah, I'm very, very aware of that. I'm very aware. Of a lot of the messages I've had. Had a lot of nice emails as well. And people share what's going on with them and share their experiences. And there's a lot of people having a lot of difficult times at the moment. And I do think it's worse. I do think I'm a big believer in that. I was the worst one in thinking, there's too many labels for too many things, and people just used to get on with it. And I think some of that is true. I do think some of that is true, but I think life used to be easier. I really, really do. I just don't think you were bombarded with all this information, and I'm sure there was always bad stuff going on in the world. Of course there was, but I don't think you were bombarded by it all the time, and I just think you're getting, I say, so much information, everybody's opinion on everything. Everything's expensive now, and I just, it's just tough. Life is tough. Life is tough. I think for a lot of people. So I didn't want to add. I don't want this to add to that. This is meant to be a distraction. So I'm not gonna talk about it anymore on here. Until the next time. No, I will. I'll find another platform. I'll do it elsewhere, and then maybe if because what I don't want to do is leave people. As I say, there's a lot of people that shared a lot of things, so I'm still trying to filter it all through in my mind. And in many respects, that's the that's the bit that requires the most thought, if you want, the biggest process to it. The West Ham stuff will, I'll swat up on West Ham today, and I'm sure I'll be talking about Nathan Gerd and Nicholas Fulkrug and everything else tomorrow. But that's what I'll do. That's what I'll do. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody. We'll get back to West Ham tomorrow. And have a good day. Have a lovely day. It's cooled down now, isn't it? It's cooled down. I thought it was just me because I was up north. I was up on the top of the hills in Yorkshire at one point. Oh, hold on, it's a bit colder, but yeah, it's not. It was hot, really hot last week. So yes, it's cooled out a bit. So anyway, hopefully everybody's well. Thanks again, and I'll catch up with you tomorrow.